Hey guys, just wanted to come on here once again and talk about Sudo, that's Sudo, Write, Sudowrite, and just give you an update so far on how I'm enjoying it. And I have to say that I'm actually having fun with it. I really am. They have changed things up. There's no doubt about that. They have changed things up in a way to where it's a little bit more, I guess you could say, financially accessible, on a monthly basis, if not a word basis. For example, you have several um, different ways to get the words you want and everything. Like like my current plan monthly on this is, um, is the trying to trying to see here. Hold on, just make sure I get this right. My current plan, as of right now, is the $19, which is basically the 19 per month plan. It's now known as the hobby and student, but that's how it was known. Um, Originally it's a legacy plan. It's a legacy plan, and according to the description, it's perfect for people who write for fun or for school. I do it for fun, a hobby, if you will. So that's $19 per month. Then $29 per month, 10 more dollars, is the professional plan. Good for longer works like a novel or a screenplay, which is okay. And then of course they have the max plan, which is for authors who publish multiple times a year. It's $59 per month, and they describe it as you unused credits rollover for 12 months, which I guess is kind of cool. In other words, it's like if you don't use certain credits, and I'll explain what those are in a minute, they will roll over into the next for the next 12 months, so you don't lose them. But these are the ones you can upgrade to, and then of course there's the yearly, of course, and the yearly is basically more along the lines of you pay in the hundreds or whatever you want to go with, if you will. And basically, what it is yearly is it's $10 per month, $22 per month, and $44 per month. So that's yearly. So it all depends on what you want to do. Me, I go with the monthly because you never know. You never know anything. But what they do in along with this is they give you credits. And for the $19 a month, initially when I went on there, the credits per month, if you will, the credits per month initially was 300,000. So that's my plan. They did tone it down a little bit by 175,000 when they changed it up. But I have what's known as the legacy plan. So the legacy plan is $19, just like the hobby and student one is. But basically, that's how it was known. As confusing as that might sound, the hobby and student used to be the legacy plan. They didn't change it on me. That's good. So I get every month when it renews, I get 300,000 credits, added on. So let's say I don't use my 300,000 initially right off the bat the previous month, and it renews, I get 600,000. So that's pretty cool. Um, now if you go from from that, if you go to the professional one, which apparently is the most popular, you can, which is $29 per month, you can get uh, a million. Apparently, you can get a million credits, if you will. And like I said, that's $29 per month, which I don't think's bad or anything. But I don't think that's bad, especially if you can, plan it out to be like, okay, I want that, because who's going to use a million credits per month, And then of course the max one, which I just mentioned, the one where your unused credits roll over for 12 months, and it's basically for authors who publish multiple times a year, I should say. The max one, which is $59 per month, gives you 200 million credits, which is kind of cool. Oh, not 200 million, but it gives you 2 million credits, which is kind of cool, if you will. 2 million credits per month. If you do the $59 per month, the $29 per month gives you a million credits. The $19, the hobby and student, which is now known as, gives you 225,000, and the legacy plan, under its original name, gives you 300,000. So that's pretty good. And again, if you can afford it, my recommendation, because because even they say it, is to go with the professional one, which is $29 per month, and it gives you a million credits. And if you're wondering what credits are, they're words. That's what they are. They're basically words. They just call them credits. They just call them credits. But yeah, it is, again, going over it. The plan I have, which is known as the legacy plan, now known as the hobby and student plan, is $19 per month. And initially, it gave you 300,000 credits. They dropped that down by 175,000 to basically 225,000 credits per month. Um, under what's now known as the hobby and student plan. The most popular one, which is the professional one, is $29 per month. That gets you a million credits. Originally it was 450,000, now it's a million. And then the max one, which is $59 per month, gets you 2 million credits, which is really cool. So, that's something to look into, if you will. That's definitely something to look into. Now, here's what's interesting though. Let's say you're managing your credits, your words very well, right? But you feel like, okay, I need more. I need more credits, but I don't want to, waste everything I have. Because that's the tricky part. You see, this being an AI system, an AI service, if you will, that, just like with a lot of AI services, it's still learning. It's still learning how to, give you what you want, if you will. It's kind of still learning to give you what you want. And and so what happens most of the time is you have to basically type in, like, if you're going with a guided mode, right? If you're going with a guided mode, to where, because it gives you the option of putting the thing in right off the bat, and it gives you a title basically to work with, a title of the story. Or if you go and let's say you use first draft, you go to the let me see, let me bring it up here for a second. You go to the plugin section, because when you go to the initial thing, it's going to give you a couple of things. It's going to give you the write, what writing genre, style, tone shift, guided, auto, whatever you want, rewrite, describe, brainstorm, and plugins. Under the plugins, when you initially begin, it's going to be first draft. That's going to be one of the options, and when you use that, you can just basically put in what you want the story to be like, or you want to give them an idea of what the story is going to be like. And then after doing that, it gives you, pretty much an idea, sort of like a beginning, you know, of what you want, like, what you want the story to be. Or they give you kind of like a jumping off point if you're going with the guided. Because if you go to write, and instead of choosing audio or tone shift, and you go right for that middle, which is guided, then first draft will basically serve as a jumping off point. And then what you do is you go to guided and you add in more. Like, you're like, okay, this is what I want to happen next, and it'll give it to you. Now they do have other options in there as well. They do have other options as well. They have a story Bible, they have a canvas, they have chapters that you can add and everything. So they got a lot of stuff you can work with, which is pretty cool. Which is pretty cool. Um, but with that said, it's still an AI. It's still learning. And because it's still learning, sometimes it's not going to give you exactly what you want, and it takes a couple of attempts before, AI wise, it gets the idea of, oh, okay, I see what you're saying, or I see what you want. And then what that does is it causes you to, lose a lot of words. Now, when you delete something. Like if, like let's say you tell right, like if you go to first draft and you go down to tone shift and you say I want a sensual like story, and you put in the first draft, write a erotic story of such and such, and you say you want it a certain way. You do that, and then it starts basically, after you hit go, if you will, it basically starts writing down, or basically, putting down on the screen, hopefully what you asked it to do, hopefully what you've asked it to do. And sometimes it'll get it right, off the bat, like it'll give you exactly, well, I wouldn't say exactly, but it'll give you kind of, something that's passable. Like you can be like, okay, that kind of fits what I'm looking for, or was hoping for. But on the other hand, sometimes it won't get it right. Sometimes it'll give you initially what you're looking for, and then it'll go off in a different direction. Like it'll go and use something that you want done a certain way and do it another way. As if that makes any sense. So what you need to do, basically, what you need to do is, unfortunately, delete that version. Sometimes you have to delete that version, or instead, if you're not using tone shift or auto under the right section, then what you need to do, and you're using guided, I should say. I'm trying to think about what I was going to say there. You're using guided instead. What you need to do is take what you typed into the guided section, which is in the middle between auto and tone shift, and you need to copy and paste what you wrote there and put it into the area where you were hoping it would go initially. But then on the right side of the screen, you're going to have all these different versions that the AI brought up, and what that does is it kind of wastes your credits, your words, and unfortunately, you don't get those back. That's the catch right there. That's the catch right there, and obviously, a lot of people have complained about it. A lot of people have complained about it. So what they've done, because they had this initially at first as well, is they're giving you the option to buy extra credits. Now, what I like about this is for $5, you can, for $5 you get 1,000 credits, or you get 100,000 credits. So I think that's good. You get 100,000 credits. I think that's great. For $20, you'll get 500,000 credits. That's even better. But if you want to splurge, if you have the money to do it, for $49, basically 50, you can get, are you ready for this? 1,750,000 credits. Yeah, 1,750,000 credits, for $49. And honestly, if I have the money down the line, that's probably what I'm going to do, because you cannot race basically 17,000. You cannot waste a 1,750,000 credits. You can't. So they do give you that option as well. What they also do, if you're trying to do a story or a project and you're running low on credits, because sometimes depending on how the page operates, could still, because again, this site's still a site in progress. It's still, you know, basically, improving, trying to get better, adding different things. At times, it will show you on the bottom where your history is, like your first draft and your other, additions or attempted additions, or put in, if you will. What they'll do is at the bottom, they'll show you how many credits you have left in your billing period. Now, you can also go to the systems gear on the right, on the upper right, and you'll see right there how much you have as well, right under your profile page. So I think that's great. That they give you pretty much a way to see, if not right as you're working, or go right as you're working on something, or go into the little gear on the upper right. I'm glad that they do give you an idea of how many you have left. So let's say you have 70, like for me right now, I have 79,249 credits left, right? Now, here's what's crazy. I had 14,000 or 12,000 remaining, and I added 100,000 last night. And that gave me about 100, that gave me about 112,000 plus. and now all of a sudden it's down to 79,249. And yes, that's because I've been having a little fun, making up little stories here and there, but also having to redo them because they weren't exactly what I wanted. And again, that's the catch. But like I said, again, they must have heard complaints because, allowing you to buy, you know, uh, 100,000 credits for $5 or 500,000 credits for $20. Two of the more affordable ways to go outside of the three. I think it's great because they know people feel like they're getting gypped, and they don't want them to feel that way. So I'm glad they're doing that because what you can do is what I can do is I can go from this 79,000, if you will, up to 179,000, if not 579,000 if I wanted to, and I think that's great. Um, so there's that. So that's that kind of a catch. That's kind of like that. Ooh, it's like I'm wasting my words here. I can't get my words back. But they're giving me this option to add more because obviously they've heard complaints, or people may have complained and said something, which with any new system, AI or not, is going to happen. Now, the other thing too is when you go to the right, you go to WRIT, right, if you will. When you go to that, like I said, you're going to have your options of auto, guided, which it'll follow your instructions. Whatever you type in there, it'll hopefully follow what you want as best it can, or else you got to copy and paste what you put in the guided, put it in yourself. But then you got tone shift, and in tone shift you have basically the style of your writing. You can change the style of your writing. Like you can go from ominous, fantastical, fast-paced, upbeat, authoritative, if you will, conflicted, romantic, and sensual. And then under that, you have writing sessions. You have writing settings, and you can have. And at the top, you have creativity, which is kind of a bar, which is like a bar where you basically be like, oh, I want less creativity, but then you want most creativity. It's kind of like that. It's got the number of cards too, which you could choose. You can choose the number of cards up to, I think, yeah, up to six. Length of cards you can use up to about 500 words, if you will, which again, is not the best solution in my opinion. That would be a waste. And then the selected poise mode, you can go best poise, you can go most accurate, you can go unfiltered and experimentally, and those are like the initial ones right off the bat, the first three right off the bat. And then experimentally, you have GPT-4 Turbo, Goliath 120B, Mithromax 13B, Mixtral 7B Instruct, Mistral 7B Open Orca, Mistral Open Hermes 7B, Mistral Medium Gemini Pro, Claude 3 Opus, Claude 3 Sonnet, and Claude 3 Hariku, if you will. Those are the options. But if you want to basically kind of like be free, like you want to have that freedom to make any story you want, unfiltered is the best selection in my opinion. Especially if you're going to use that and you're going to use the tone settings, if you will. You can use tone shift, if you will, and go with sensual or romantic. Unfiltered, in my opinion, is the way to go, especially if you're going to write a certain kind of story, if you know what I mean. But the other thing too to take note is, just like with some AI sites, it's all about time frames, because you know, apparently, when you get to late at night, I'm assuming this because this happened last night. Apparently, when you go past midnight, kind of adult time, if you will, you can actually use certain words to describe how you want a story to go. You can. You can use incense. You can use daughter. You can use mom. You could use any kind of those names, or any kind of those words, I should say, and it will let you do it. That's what I found. That's what I saw last night. But then when I would try something like that today, this morning, it didn't happen because now we're in daytime. So obviously they're going by that old method of during the day you can write, you can make, you can get as sensual or erotic as you want, but you can't use certain words. But at late at night, apparently, depending on the situation, nothing's off limits, as far as I know. Because if you try to do that kind of a story during the day and you're using words like incense, daughter, mom, whatever, um, it will give you a message saying, "Hey, you might have your account locked because this violates certain things." Now, it could be somebody on the other side, because it has to be somebody on the other side that's helping this AI out, that might be looking at that and be like, "Oh, no, 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 that's not on my watch," kind of deal. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. But yeah, it does feel like it is kind of gradually changing a bit, not too much. And there is a way to get around it, because I tried to do, let's say, just for an example, I tried to do a story with Sally and her mom, getting it on, and I took out the incense word, I took out the mom word, the daughter word, and it worked. It actually worked. You take those words out, and it worked. And surprisingly, it knows who's who, because it even described Sally's mom, Alicia, as her mom. Even though I didn't mention her as that. So you take those words out, you should be good. You should be. Again, it all depends on timing and mainly who's like working behind the scenes over there, if you know what I mean. Um, but yeah, it is still a site, a system that's still learning. You know, so for anybody that has issues with it, you know, it's just gonna be issues you're gonna deal with for quite some time, because just like any AI system out there, it's still learning. I mean, Gemini, formerly Bard on Google, um, you can actually do these kind of stories, but you got to be very, I guess you could say, strategic, if you will, by doing them, by doing certain descriptions and words. And the same with ChatGPT. You know, you can do it with them, but they'll also kind of give you like, oh, you might be violating this, or this might violate, such and such. And then they might send you an email saying, hey, we heard about this and da da da. So, so yeah, just like a lot of AI systems, even the ones that do pictures, video, whatever, they're all still learning. They're all still learning, and hopefully down the line, these will learn that okay, if somebody's using unfiltered, they're using tone shift from a tone shift perspective, they're saying it's sensual, romantic. That hopefully it'll get the idea of okay, it wants to go this route, like it wants to go MA material, if you know what I mean, or NC-17 material, and you know, hopefully, hopefully that will happen someday. Hopefully that will occur one day. But we'll just have to see. We'll have to see. But I just wanted to come on here and give you a little bit of an update on my time with Sudowrite. And again, I think it's a great, I think it's a great service. But you can definitely tell that they got a lot of improving to do, and you can definitely tell that some of the things that are being programmed into it is mostly like apparently only from 6 a.m. to maybe midnight or something like that, to ensure that what you type during that time frame isn't seen by, let's say, little eyes, if you know what I mean. But let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below, live chat if you're watching on YouTube. You'll be able to find this also on all the other outlets that you'll see in the description. But yeah, give me your thoughts. Let me know how you feel about this. What is your experience? What's to do right? What do you think they can improve on and everything? What other sites like them do you think can be improved on and maybe change up and give a little bit more freedom to the author? Because like Sudowrite says, this is a writing AI that puts the author in charge. Well, you're not putting the author in charge if you're saying, hey, this might be violating stuff. So let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below. Like I said, comment down below. Live chat if you're watching on YouTube. Again, you'll get this on other outlets as well, including the new ones I'm on, iHeart, Pandora, you name it, Audible. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. About all this. Let me know if you used to do right, And until then, I'll talk to you later.